Hello, welcome in to another jam-packed Audible here. We're glad to have you along for the ride. It is a 2A through play or 4A playoff edition. We're going to look back at what happened over the weekend. We're going to look ahead a little bit. We are going to do a members only stream coming up tomorrow night or tomorrow sometime where you can be a part of that as well. Where it's gonna be more like an NCAA tournament style breakdown where we talk about the games that are coming up and just kind of how we did. We're gonna show you our bracket. We're gonna have the red lines or whatever lines will show up on our bracket, and then some check marks. And I'll tell you, we got more check marks than we have red lines right now. But with that being said, Justin Smith sitting here beside me.
What's up, buddy?
He's getting ready. Actually, we are getting ready to go to Clinton for basketball today as well. We've got to head out about 2 o'clock as we've got the Pottsville Apaches basketball coming up. So we got a lot going on over this time period. It's kind of a crossover time where you got football and basketball going at the same time, and we're right in the middle of it. I'll tell you right now, looking ahead to the week of the 1st of December. Ooh, it's
Buddy,
going to be fun,
buddy, I'm already tired.
right? We have got. I'm working on something right now. We won't go ahead and release that just yet, but we've got to get involved with some schools around the state, and I'm talking about colleges around the state for something that we'd like to do special for the signing period. We'll talk about that here coming up very soon. Which, unfortunately, our time is running out because of Thanksgiving and all of that.
hmm
But we're going to try to do something special for signing day. We'll talk about that later. But right now, we're going to talk about what happened over the weekend and where we're at right now in the playoffs for 2A through 4A. And that's something that you don't want to miss. And as always, you can just put your questions out there. We'll do everything we can to answer those questions. I know some of y'all are going to be like, well, what do you think about this one? Well, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. We want to talk about what happened over the weekend. That's what we want to concentrate on. And then we'll talk a little bit about the Arkansas coaching search, which seems to be coming to a head. I think there's some things happening right now and I think there's a name out there that nobody would have thought of earlier, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. So, Justin, I'm going to give it over to you, and let's just talk a little bit about 2A and some of the things that happened over the weekend.
Well, it was a good weekend in 2As. A couple upsets. Start off with number one, Hampton. They were the one seed. They went down to Mineral Springs, 32-6. What a game!
So Mineral Springs has moved up a good freshman class. And then not only that, but whatever they did, they begin to figure it out in the middle of the season. Mineral Springs currently is 5-6 on the season, but five of their last six they've won.
Yeah,
So they're playing really, really well right now.
peaking at the right time.
They're peaking at the right time. That's exactly right. They're playing well when it matters, and they got the upset win over Hampton. Hampton, I think, finished the season 9-2. If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken. That's tough, though. You know,
it's hard to go out when you've been that good all season.
first round, um, first round loss there. I know it's tough, but Hampton is making a comeback, and that's Coach Police over there. I don't know exactly how to say it. Police, I believe is how you say it. But anyway, um, we're it's interesting that Mineral Springs was able to come through. We talked about Hector and Desart being a 50-50 game. Score doesn't look that way, but if you look at what happened in the game, Desart jumped out on Hector 22-0, and was Hector was able to come back and cut it within 8. And then Desark at the end of the game scored a couple times to kind of make it back to that 22-point mark, and it ended up being a 58-36 ball game, which we talked about how that game right there would probably be a high scoring game, and it was. Two great offenses playing each other, and now Desart has a chance to host a playoff game. Who would have thought? Third seeded Desart, second round, gets to host a playoff game against Mineral Springs. We know our friend Randy Pickrell over there at Desark is happy for the fact that they get to host a playoff game, and so right there in between the graveyards, we're going to have a playoff game there. and the winner of that game will face the winner of Cross County and Junction City. And those two really took care of business. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing really out of the ordinary with those two games there. Cross County. I really like this matchup, and I don't want to get too much into it because again, we'll look ahead tomorrow. But today, right now, we're looking back. But that matchup between Cross County and Junction City is one of the more interesting matchups in this bracket. 65-12 win over Bearden. I think it took them a little bit to get going over there, but once they got going at Junction City, they just kind of rolled. And then Cross County, I think, pretty much dominated with a 49-0 victory. Um, and nothing out of the ordinary there. I think that was kind of expected. Moving down the bracket, yeah, East Poinsett County beating Conway Christian 49-7. That was a, uh, a a rematch of the state championship game last year, and this time it was at East Poinsett County, and it went the way that we kind of thought it would.
Yeah, kind of like Christian, they're a little bit down this year compared to what they were last year. And at EPC, man, they're just really good in that backfield.
Yeah,
Good luck tackling them.
that's
Just
right. EPC will take on Poen. Poen and Gurdon had one of the better games of the playoffs, first round
their
here.
closest game in the playoffs so
At
far.
least in the 2A bracket, it was. And that was another one of those 50-50 top ball games there. I think we picked Poen
We
out.
did.
I think we
We did.
did. And they were able to win that game 40-37. I think it was probably on, I'm pretty sure it was in the last minute, maybe even the last play of the game type of thing there. Mount Ida rolls easily 45-8 over McCrory. Nothing out of the ordinary there. And Carlisle wins 47-6 over Spring Hill. So as of right now in the 2A, you've got 10-1 Carlisle versus 10-1 Mount Ida in round two. You got 10-1 East Poinsett County, I think. Are they 10-1 or are they 9-2? I think they're 10-1. They're playing Poen, and Poen coming around, man. Coach Vic Barrett coaching some of his last games. His brother will take over, and he will be the next head coach there at Poen. Junction City and Cross County will take on each other, and Mineral Springs and Des Arc will take on each other. And if you want a playoff preview and just kind of looking back at the bracket and how we did, make sure that you join us over there on YouTube. You'll get special perks such as the ASN Basketball Classic coming up in January. It's going to be a great time there as well. Mineral and Des Arc will also play. We'll talk about that tomorrow. So, anyway, I think that wraps up what we did in the 2A. Let's move on to 3A.
Well, I got the yawns, man. I'm tired. 3A. There we go.
Now, 3A is not going to cover us all because of the way
not,
they,
not at all.
right? So, you might want to get some coffee or something.
oh, yeah. That we need to split that bracket in half to make it easier to
Yeah, maybe
see.
here. Let me see if I can do that for you while
Oh
we're
man,
working on it.
we'll get started though. Mansfield they had to buy. Walnut Ridge they beat Dumas 70-33. I expected a closer game there and didn't get one.
Well, yeah, I think Dumas might be a little bit injured right now. I don't know. I know that anytime that there's a team that is playing well and then all of a sudden they kind of drop off, two things have happened. One, either their schedule just hasn't been that good. They started playing against a better schedule, or two, they got injured.
Yep,
And I mean, it could be one of either for this
or a combination of
Dumas
both.
team, right? Or a combination of both. Um, and anyway, with that being said, Walnut Ridge getting 70 points. That was big time. That was something that I didn't really expect. I really
Yeah, me
thought
either.
that would be a 50-50 game, but Walnut Ridge really showed that they could do it.
Bismarck handled business over Lavaca 57-0. McGee took care of Magnet Cove 46-8.
Yeah, that 3A4 struggled.
Yeah,
They lost four of five games, and I'm bringing you this top part of the bracket right now. That's in that ASN chat. I'll bring that other part to you here as well. But anyway, all that being said, you know, that 3A4 just really didn't have the, I don't even know what to say. They, outside of Glen Rose, which we were pretty much, we felt that that was the way it was going to be, that they were going to struggle. And that is what happened. 3A4 did struggle some, and you know, it really just kind of went along exactly like we thought it would, to be honest with you.
There we go. That's better. We can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I really didn't expect nothing less. Nothing different either. But I expected a little bit more from Levac in that game, but Bismarck. My gosh, they're a really good football team.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, yeah. I mean, I that was a tough matchup for
yeah,
them, and
really was.
Bismarck has McGee. This is going to be an interesting matchup. By the way, I'm sending you the other part of that
Mm,
bracket, and I'll do the same for the 4A here in just a second. But anyway, um, Bismarck McGee is an interesting matchup. But when I look at the bracket and I look out that next week,
yeah,
Mansfield Bismarck, that's going to be a clash of titans
yeah, it really will be.
there. It's going to be something. But, they got to get there first. And McGee's, obviously no slouch. So you can't just roll in there and think that you're going to win that and
No,
win it.
not at
You know what
all.
I mean?
Not at all. Moving on to the other number one seed, Salem. They took care of Falk 54-7, and Newport handled business against Melbourne 48-14.
Yeah, nothing really surprising there. Newport's playing well. They get a chance to play Salem again. Salem beat them pretty handily earlier in the year, but it's always harder to beat a team second time. And then you've got Newport playing better than they played. So I really expect that game will be a good one. Again, those two games went about exactly like you would have thought they would have. Nothing surprising on those two games. And so, again, your better matchups are beginning to show up. I mean, this Salem and Newport matchup will be a better matchup, I believe. I'll tell you right now, if Salem comes in and blows Newport out again, I think that's something to be said about that
Yep.
because, I mean, when you can beat them a second time and they're playing well like they are, that would be something to really hang your hat on there. And I'll tell you right now, Salem is playing well. They are playing really well. So it's one of those things that we'll just wait and see what happens.
Choplay saying lines by score, fear the veer, and they had a good.
Yes,
Joe, thanks for tuning in with us, buddy. You've been right there with us for a couple years now, man. But
absolutely.
all right, moving on. CMS they went down to Osceola 56-22, and Drew Central they handled Paris 43-6. I picked that game different.
You had
Yeah,
Paris.
I had Paris.
Yeah, Paris, Paris struggled toward the end. And again, it was one of those things that you look at that 4A bracket and or 3A bracket and you say, 4A, the 3A4 just struggled, man.
Yep,
They
really
just
did.
did, and it was pretty evident. Again, Glen Rose is the team right now, and of course we knew that. We knew that Glen Rose was the team in that bracket. By the way, the 4A top is
Hmm.
is with you now, and I'm about to send you the 4A bottom. But again, nothing really surprising there. But your better matchups are coming out. Osceola. Um, Coming out, Drew Central. I mean, those two should have won those games, obviously, by the scores that they did. So now you've got a matchup. I think that one, if you have a coin flip matchup in any of those, it's Osceola and Drew Central right there, a 50-50 matchup.
There's some on the ASN High School
Okay,
Facebook that I hadn't come across yet.
don't sleep on Newport. I'll get you. I get you. Add three more players when you might get recognition. Other than that, it's glorified flag football league. I have no idea what we're talking about. I have
Yeah,
no
man,
idea there. I
me
got
either.
nothing. I got nothing on that.
It's, no respect for 8-man football from anybody. We don't get enough information on them, man.
I'm sorry. I,
We
I
try.
I'm not.
They can't get. They just. We don't get stats. It yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know what to say to that. I mean, there is a little bit that comes in, but we don't get a lot. I know during the regular season it's a little bit harder to follow what's going on because a lot of times you don't see updates coming to the scorebook live and all of that we keep up with a lot of things with. So, I really don't know what to say other than we're sorry, and I don't know what else to go with that.
Terry Tyler should APC win it all this year, man. I personally hope so. I've seen him play a couple times. Saw him play last year in the semis. I'd like to see him win it. It's that backfield and quarterback, man. There's something to watch. And Collier Bush, a Dabo on the way. I hope not.
Well, we'll see. We'll see about that.
Good
That is not a name that's being mentioned, but going with the most recent Arkansas searches, I think that a name that's out of left field is not out of the question. So you have both those 4A brackets now.
Yeah, I'd I'd have PJ Fleck all over Dabo Swinney any day.
Yeah, I
Just
think
my personal
it
opinion.
seems like PJ Fleck might be out of the mix now. That's I think that he was, but I think that he is not now.
Moving to the bottom of the bracket, Rivercrest, they started with a bye. They'll face Boonville, who beat Quitman 69-27.
I'm going to tell you the most dangerous 6-4, 7-4 football team in the state right now is the Boonville Bearcats. I guarantee you. Um, if you look at their schedule and look at what they've done, they they lost to Ozark by a score. Ozark's 4A. They lost to a bigger school in Oklahoma, which is bigger than Ozark. They lost to Mansfield by two, and they lost to Charleston by two scores. But I think that game was more of a one score ball game till the very end, and then I think it got to two at the end. And I think a lot of Charleston. I think Charleston's got
Mm-hmm.
a real chance of making it to Little Rock and maybe winning the whole thing. Um,
They're on the best side of the bracket for them to do so.
yeah, it's definitely when you are on the other side of Bismarck, Mansfield, uh, and
And EPC.
and Salem.
It's yeah,
Yeah,
it's four
well,
great teams in the
EPC's on
top of that
in the
bracket.
2A.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah, I wasn't thinking. My bad. I was thinking Salem.
yeah. So anyway, Salem there. So
They
anyway,
all run together.
it's a definitely a better situation for them down there at the bottom. But anyway, with that being said, Boonville and Rivercrest. Um, that's an interesting matchup. We're going to talk about that when we get into our members only stuff. And I'm not doing this for members only just to do members only. What we are doing there is it's like again, it's more like an NCAA tournament bracket style where we're gonna go back and say, well, where we were right, where we were wrong, and then of course this is always a recap time for us. We have yet to be able to get to that this week, so we're going to do that recap. We'll try to recap 5A through 7A tomorrow as well, and that's our day off from basketball. So
Yeah, it's
anyway,
a crazy week. Just a real busy week for me and Brad here. Moving on, next up, second part of this bracket, Glen Rose. They took care of Harrisburg 49-12, and a bit of a shocker the way the game went. Atkins took care of Prescott 27-6. I thought they'd be closer, even though I picked Atkins to win.
see, I think Atkins Red Devils, if they weren't so beat up, I think the Atkins Red Devils have a team that is a semifinal-ish
Yeah,
type of team. Now, I'm going to say that with a caveat because I think there's 8 semifinal-ish type of teams in the 3A this year. I think that you could close your eyes, you could probably pick just point and pick, and you would have any kind of combination that you wanted there. I think you could have that, right?
yeah,
Atkins is a little bit beat up. I think that this matchup with Glen Rose this weekend is going to be good, but Atkins, they may be catching Atkins at a good time. I'll say that. I like Atkins a lot. I think they're really good. So, anyway, Glen Rose, man, what can you say about them? I mean, 49-12, that's exactly what they were supposed to do. Gage Hood is a absolute force. He's a big time junior and a big time player. So that's going to be a great matchup, a great quarterback matchup there with him and Cole Crawford. Really, really good matchup there. I like what Atkins does, and I'm going to tell you right now, they're very physical. They're a
yes,
very
they
physical
are.
team.
Top to
Let me turn
bottom, they're
this
a
down
physical
for.
team.
Yeah, let me turn
That was
this.
coming through.
I think so.
Shouldn't
Well, is that me? Oh, that's me. I'm sorry.
have.
Yeah,
I was wondering what that
there
was.
we
So
go.
we had a echo playback,
Right.
but oh, it's yeah, Atkins, man, they I said it on somebody's posted about it on Facebook. It's I picked them, but I wasn't cheering for them. But I will be this week. It's hard for a Pottsville person to cheer for an Atkins team, but I'm going to this week because they're banged up and they need the support. Got to support them Polk County teams. We're out here in Atkins, aren't we?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
moving on. Bottom half of this side of the bracket, Fordyce took care of Jessieville 46-0, and Charleston over Barton 71 to
Now
48.
that
Man,
Charleston Fort Barton game was a little bit interesting because, that game was close, and Charleston obviously was able to keep scoring toward the end to be able to get to that 71 mark. Um, Fordyce, I'll tell you one thing about Fordyce, they were motivated. Fordyce they played Jessieville in the first or second round last year, and Jessieville hurt, and some people say it was dirty, some don't. I don't know. I wasn't there to see it, but Jessieville hurt the quarterback Cadillac Ellison there, and Ellison was out for the rest of the playoffs. Said that broke his leg, I think.
Oh man.
Right, and so anyway, I saw a video of Ellison um, before the game, and they tried to shake his hand. He didn't shake their hand there at midfield. Of course, that's a big old kid, man. I mean, that dude is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want him mad at me. I mean, you're talking about 6'4" and easily 250 pounds,
It,
easily. And so anyway, and his team did well. Micah Gamble is a force to be reckoned with as well there in Fordyce, and we've got a matchup between Fordyce and Charleston that is worthy of a semifinal. I
yeah,
mean,
it
it
is.
really is, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, we have picked Charleston in our bracket, but I mean, obviously this will go either way, and I believe this is just my personal belief. The winner of that game comes out and goes to Little Rock. That's my personal belief. Now, obviously anything can happen because you got Smackover Mayflower down here below them, and then at the
Yep.
top. But to me, that's the best two teams in that side of the bracket playing each other. Now, does the best two teams always make it?
Nope.
No, it doesn't. So,
And you're right. That's going to be a good game. You can't ever count out the Red Bugs down in Fordyce.
oh,
Can't
and it's
can't
at
count them out. Yeah,
Fordyce.
it's at Fordyce, and
Yeah,
it's a long trip for Charleston. It's what, but probably 3.5, 4 hours for Charleston on a bus, somewhere
it's
around there.
it's a long way.
It's gonna be a long night for them. And look, and we did a game there at Fordyce a couple years ago. And
Yep,
that them Red Bug fans, they are proud of their team, and good luck playing there.
that's right. That's
Because
right.
we did the Fordyce Cross it there a couple years ago. Was that right?
It was Fordyce and Clarendon.
Clarendon, that's right.
Hmm.
Sorry, Clarendon.
Yep.
I knew it was a C.
Great game. Great
It
game.
was. It really was.
Great game. I mean, an epic game for sure.
Finishing off this bracket, Smackover handled Hackett 54-8, and what I you can't take it away from the best defense in the 3A. Really, Mayflower handled Harmony Grove, Washita County 43-7.
Well, Harmony Grove did outscore the average of which Mayflower's
Yeah.
given up, which is 5 points a game right now.
Oh,
I mean, that's something to be said. It's pretty incredible
I think
there.
the only team that got two double digits on them was Salem, right?
12,
12
12
points.
points.
I mean, what do you say to
Right.
that?
I mean, it Mayflower is an interesting deal because Mayflower's defense is so good. Um,
They smother you.
They do. They do.
Just,
They're fast and they're big and they're very very aggressive. And if defense wins championships, I mean, could Mayflower make it out? I'm not going to sit here and count them out. I'll tell you
no.
that right now. Now, with that being said, Smackover 54 is nothing to them. They score that in their sleep,
Yeah.
and you've got a great matchup between a great offense and a great defense.
Yeah, it's going to be
And that
fun.
it's at Smackover. And so that is, an interesting thought there. With that being said, well, I tell you what, seeing Mayflower as I have, I feel like that Mayflower might have just slight edge, maybe.
Well, it's a
But
tough one.
again, I haven't seen Smackover, so I can't sit here and tell
Yeah.
you. But what I can tell you is they've got three dudes on offense that are unreal. They call them the triplets. And let me get I've got a message on that real quick. Let me look here real quick. Yeah. Mitchell Polk, the quarterback, he's just committed to Arkansas Tech. Joe Brown is their running back, and Juice Robinson, um, wide receiver, I believe, or maybe I believe that's how it is. Brown's the running back, and Robinson's the receiver, and they're special. They're a special group.
Hmm.
So, man, I'll tell you, that's a great matchup.
It really
That's a
is.
great matchup. And I'll be honest with you, if things weren't how they were this weekend for us, I would have probably sought that game out to go down there and be the game of the week. Um, there's some things that are going on with us that I need to stay a little closer, and keep the crew closer. And so, anyway, with that said, we went to Dardanelle and Hamburg instead, which I mean, Dardanelle Hamburg is 10 miles up the road for us. So when you get a chance to be 10 miles up the road, you take it. So Dardanelle is going to be it's going to be a fun matchup there.
They really will be. Speaking of Darnell, move right along to the 4A, and they're next up. And it's a tough night for me last Friday night. I tell you that. It Stuttgart got the bye on the top of this bracket, and then the Chickasaws they handled my Apaches 42-27. Let me tell you something. Courtney Rogers in the backfield, them Chickasaws. Look out for him.
He had a
He
lot of
runs
yards.
hard. He is big and he is fast.
Had a lot of yards. A lot of yards out
Hit
there.
200 in the first half. Period.
Yeah.
Just
Well, I
it
know
was
he broke
outstanding.
he broke off at least 4 runs of 65 yards. One of them went back for
Yeah, we
a
had to get
penalty.
called back, and then
So
like they scored 2 plays
so
later.
if you just take 3 runs of 65 yards, that's 195 yards just on 3 runs. So
Yeah,
he was electric,
and didn't even look winded.
right?
Like he was letting up 30 yards out.
Yeah.
That's how fast he is.
So Stuttgart, um, offensively though, obviously they're gonna cause more issues
Hmm.
for Blytheville,
They
and
will. It might be a shootout.
yeah, it could be a little bit of a shootout. I think that Stuttgart's got more athletes as well,
Yeah,
just to match up.
and
So
you can't knock out
yeah,
the mind of Kane Price. That
yeah.
young man, he's great
Oh,
behind center.
Price is definitely one of the best in the state, no doubt about it. I think he's got an opportunity. I think we had somebody in the comments talking about the Birds, did we not? Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Collier
Collier Bush.
Bush
Yeah.
said Birds going all the way. They are undefeated, 10-0, getting a chance to stretch it out to 11. I like them with the opportunity. I like where they're at in the bracket. I'll
Hmm.
say that
Yeah.
for
Oh, they
sure.
got it. They're on the best side of the bracket for them possibly.
So, moving on there, you got Mills over West Helena, and
Which
you've
is a
got
bit closer than I thought it'd be, 40 to
hmm
38.
now 1-5 game, and
Yeah.
that was a last second game.
Yeah.
That was one of the last plays. Absolutely, Tim Sweden saying Atkins RDP, Red Devil Pride. It runs deep. Um, anyway,
And then box that over Ozark, which
yeah.
shocked me that we
Well,
lost that one in the
I
bracket.
mean, it was a 50-50 game.
It was.
It was a 50-50 game, and the only problem with that 50-50 game is we picked Ozark to go out further.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. Again, that's why doing this like the NCAA tournament is going to be fun because you get a round and you get a week to talk about it, and you get a chance to see how you did, right?
Yep.
And so anyway, I know that. Well, I don't want to get into that because I want to save that for our members only. Um, so let's going down to the bottom of the bracket there. Elkins beat Forest City with
52-14.
yeah,
Hey, yeah,
nothing.
nothing surprising there.
And Southside over Huntsville 42-14. That again, not anything surprising. Sets up a great matchup
It
there
does.
between Elkins and Southside, and then Arkadelphia and Highland. Arkadelphia won easily, and Clinton. We were there to watch them beat Fountain Lake. Fountain Lake. I was telling their fans, I'm like, guys, y'all need to send us some stuff. You need to let us know. Fountain Lake has one of the best offenses in the state. They don't ever try to run it.
No.
Their only runs that they had, I think they actually tried to run it about 5 times with the running back, and everything else was with the quarterback. But let me tell you something, they've got some guys that can drop some absolute dimes. And while they didn't win the game, I want to recognize some of that. So let me do that real quick. Um, we had a little bit of a snafu there on the broadcast, so I wasn't able to get all of the stats. But I want to talk about real quick the Peyton Harwood kid from Fountain Lake. He had at least 250 yards receiving. I mean,
Whew.
absolute dog when it comes to wide receiver. Wes Welker. If you ever watch Wes Welker play, especially for the Denver Broncos, Wes Welker, he was just he was just that guy, and Harwood is that guy. Harwood again. Now we don't get stuff from them. Harwood is on pace to set the receiving record in the state of Arkansas. Yeah, he had coming into the game, he had 111 catches for over 1,500 yards,
Wow.
right? And then they have Case Hare, who also was up there. In fact, let me go pull that up real quick. Why am I doing that?
I couldn't tell you.
Right.
You and your tabs.
Here we go. Let me look here real quick.
I don't know how you find anything over there.
Let's see here. Um, so
Cluttered laptop, cluttered mind.
nah.
Uh,
All right, here we go. So Case Hare he had 77 catches for 1295 coming in. Now
Jesus,
that's two receivers there that had
that's
over a
nuts.
thousand yards. I mean, and Harwood ended up finishing with over 250, so he ended up with 1,800 most likely for the season, and Hare probably had 100 himself. And Cooper Bus, the quarterback coming into the game, had 3,155 yards passing, 34 touchdowns. I'm saying this right now. I'll just call it right now. Fountain Lake is going to have one of the best offenses in the state of Arkansas next year. You can put that in your book because basically that whole roster that we had, so we didn't have a full roster. We only had, I think, up to number 55. And then some of those guys that were lost in the shuffle, I think they had a couple seniors in there. But what we saw 1 through 55, they only had three seniors listed on that roster. It was
Jesus.
freshmen and sophomore, I'm sorry, sophomore and juniors outside of that. And then they moved up some freshmen that we didn't even have numbers for that night. But anyway, with that being said, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. The only thing about them, they got to figure out a way to play defense because they don't. And Clinton was able to run all over them defensively, and that ended up being the difference in the game there. I mean, they just could not stop them.
Uh,
Zach Hunt Gonzalez, he was.
them boys from Clinton, they're
Well,
big.
let me tell you something.
Them boys are big.
Let me tell you something. Rylan Jones and Zach Hunt Gonzalez, if you're going to have to tackle those dudes, you're going to have to bring your lunch pail, man.
When we were in at Clinton, what Monday, I guess, yeah, Monday.
Yeah,
Um, one time I slipped outside, and if went to the parking lot, yeah, great. If you went to the other side, you could just see the football field.
right,
And I stood there and watched for a few minutes, and just from a distance, they're huge.
right.
It's
Oh, they're big.
my goodness. It's so I mean, look out, Arkadelphia.
Well,
It
it,
you're gonna have a good game there. I think it's gonna be a really good game.
it sets up an interesting matchup, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you look at the name Clinton and you take them for granted, they will beat you.
Oh yes,
They will
they
beat
will.
you. They will beat you. But anyway, that will set up a nice matchup between them and Arkadelphia. Um, again, we'll talk about those matchups in the members only chat.
Bottom half of the bracket, Gosno got the bye there. Uh, they'll face Warren, who beat Gentry 42-23. Good job, Warren there.
I think that was a game that Warren actually was leading bigger than that. I think it might have been 42-7. So
Yeah,
a couple scores made that a little bit better than it was. Blaze Fellows had four touchdowns in the first half, I believe. Which, if you're not familiar with Warren, Rashawn Fellows, who ended up playing at Tennessee, I think he was a part of that first group that was really really good there at Warren. Rashawn Fellows, Brett Smith, and Terrence Hampton. And I feel like Hampton went to Arkansas, and Brett Smith, Rashawn Fellows ended up at Tennessee. They both were contributors. Brett Smith was a really good receiver for Tennessee for his career. So anyway, Blaze Fellows is now um, the seed coming up, and I'll be interested to see where he ends up. With that being said, we'll see what happens there in the Gosnell game because Gosnell is a good football team. We
yes,
know
they
that for
are.
a fact.
Moving on. One seed goes down. Nashville drops to Pocahontas 32-13. And Prairie Grove handled business 34-14 over Hebert.
So you want to talk about a bracket buster?
Yeah, it
Pocahontas,
was.
the 5 seed, going across the state. I mean, just about as far as you can go, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a long trip for them.
what are we talking about on mileage? I'm curious. But Pocahontas got them last year and got him again this year. And I know that hurts. I know that hurts big time there at Nashville. They really were expecting to go further. Now I know that their quarterback was hurt, and that I know that made a difference. But also I know that a freshman moved up, and that also made a difference for Pocahontas, and that's something that you cannot account for
Not at all.
unless you just know that this kid's moving up from junior high. Like when you're making your picks, you cannot account for that. And
Not at all.
right. So,
'Cause, I mean, who watches junior high football? Like,
well, I mean, we
all
don't.
across the state. I mean, we can't. We just don't have the time.
By the way, Pocahontas, Arkansas is almost as close to Nashville, Tennessee as is Nashville, Arkansas. And it says it's 260 miles, 4 hours and 14 minutes.
On the bus, it's 5 hours
Right.
at least.
So, I mean, literally, it is almost as close to Nashville, Tennessee as it is Nashville, Arkansas. But anyway, that was a huge win, and now they set themselves up. They got to go another long trip. But Prairie Grove is a team that is going to put you in a box, and they're going to run it right at you, much like what Clinton does. They've been running the wing tee now for years and years and years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be an interesting matchup.
Dropping down.
Literally, seriously, 260 to Nashville from Pocahontas, 281 to Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh
That's
my,
how far it is. Yeah,
it probably take less time to get
it
there for
probably would.
just because
Yeah,
of the interstate.
yeah,
um, all right, moving to bottom half of this bracket. One seed Dardanelle, they handled business over Malvern 56-14. Nothing we didn't expect there. And then Hamburg took care of Mina 42-21.
yeah, yeah. I mean, nothing out of the ordinary there. If you look at Dardanelle and you look at Malvern, you think, well, man, that's a heck of a first round matchup. But that was a 1-5 matchup.
Yeah,
Malvern not quite as good as they've been in the past. So all that being said, nothing out of the ordinary there. And then you've got the who was it again? Hamburg
yeah, Hamburg. Yeah.
and Mina. I told you that game was interesting. That ended up being a 42-21 game. So it wasn't like just an absolute blowout, washout game. Now you've got enough that we're going to be there. You got two of the D3 Auto Sales MVP top candidates there with Creed Vega and Nykel Lewis there. That's going to be a fun matchup, and we'll have it on ASN. You're going to want to watch that one for sure. If you're at one of your playoff games, make sure you have that pulled up.
Another upset at the bottom half of this bracket. Monticello down the two seed Lone Oak 42-25. And then grab it to two seed. They took care of business 64-14 over CAC.
I think much like the 3A4, the 4A2 lost four in the
Yep.
first round, and Mills had a last second touchdown to keep them from losing five. We looked at that conference all year long and said it's not as strong. I
Mhm.
did think that Lone Oak could win that ball game, but I also knew that Monticello was probably a little bit sneaky. Despite their record, they were pretty good. And when you've got a guy like Joseph Ackles, he can do a lot of things for them. And with that said, I really think that it's going to set up a really good matchup. Monticello is going to have to go a long way to grab it. Um,
Yeah.
I hope they've left already. But with that said, that's going to be really interesting. We'll talk about that later. Gravit over CAC,
No,
nothing
nothing at all.
really out
Proud.
of the ordinary there.
I was staying apprised of that game the whole time. My old college roommate, he's the one of the assistant coaches there at Gravett, Matthew Chandler,
I
and
like Gravit, man. I think
yeah,
they're a pretty good
they
team.
really are.
I think they're pretty good. If you look at what they've done over the last few
They
years,
played Elkins closer than anybody had this year.
and did it last year as
Did it
well. In
last year
fact,
too.
they had Elkins on the ropes last year, and Elkins was really good. Well, Elkins has been exceptional the last 3 years. I
Hmm.
mean, you look at them in the semifinals in 2023 when they played Harding Academy. They played Harding Academy at the very top of their powers,
Hmm.
and then turn around and last year, I don't know that they were as good last year as they were the year before, but they were able to get to the state finals there, and that was a 7-0 ball game going into the fourth quarter, and then Arkadelphia blew it open. And then this year, everybody expecting them to go down, and they lost to Dardanelle by what, 14-10, I think,
Yeah, yeah,
which was an old-fashioned slobber knocking type of game. Um, you know, I, I would say they're going to be hard. They're going to be hard out. That if they're able to win, and Arkadelphia ends up winning, you got a state championship rematch in the quarterfinals, which will be interesting for sure.
yeah,
So
all the way.
anyway,
You just don't know. I mean, the Elkins is they're such a good football team, and even though that yeah they've lost some games more recently, I mean you just can't count them out. They just have a good program up there
yeah,
all the way. They get great coaching. You know, and great players, top to bottom. I mean,
Yes.
my goodness, they got athletes all around. Even losing Dizzy Dean a couple years ago, I mean, they didn't take a step back.
And again, I'm not sure they weren't better uh, two
Yeah.
years ago than they were last year, but they made it. They made it to the finals last year. So, anyway, anybody got any questions before we move on and talk a little bit of Razorbacks? That's an interesting dynamic right now with basketball. Mike Gailey's on the ASN side. He said they scored against our backups. It was a mercy rule. So he's talking about Mayflower and 43-7. So it was 43-0. So there you go. I mean, I'm telling you that Mayflower defense is legit.
Yeah.
Legit. It's going to be something for sure.
Oh,
It's going to be that's going to be a
yeah,
great
it
matchup.
really will be. I
Going to be
mean,
a great matchup there.
I haven't got to see Mayflower in person, but I saw him on film, and man, that their defense is just so good, all the way top to bottom. I mean, they tackle well, they keep you, in the box. I mean, they can string you out sideline to sideline. It don't matter which way you want it; they're going to give it to you.
Right. Well, let's talk about Arkansas, number one basketball team. I don't know what's going on with them right now. You know, I think the basketball team is going to be fine. I mean, if you look at last year as a track record, they're going to be fine.
Yeah,
The problem right now, I think, is with Razorback fans especially, is we're ready to see somebody come in and just kick butt. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You're supposed to kick butt. Just kick butt. Just go wipe people out. And that was what was supposed to happen with this basketball team. At least we thought so, and they're just not doing it right now. And I mean, Winthrop last night. I mean, it was 83-78 with about a
yep.
minute and a half to go, and I'm thinking they're about to lose this freaking game. And they did. You got to give them credit that they pulled that win out. And I know that some people talk about how that the stadium is empty and people don't want to play in front of however many fans are there. But man, you got to
You
um,
still have to go out and
you
take
got to
care
have
of
to play.
business.
What do we got? No one's talking about Stuttgart O line. Well, tell us about it. By the way, I hadn't even talked about this yet. We need to. It's getting late in the year, but we are going to give an offensive line of the year away. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to come eat dinner with the offensive line. We're going to bring a nice setup with them. That's going to be the award for the offensive line. We're going to sit down and eat with them, and we're going to have a nice setup with them. So we're looking forward to that. I hadn't even done that. Helping Hands Medical Center here in Russellville is going to make that happen for us. Offensive line of the year, Helping Hands Medical Center, and we're going to be there for that. Now, how do you choose that? We're going to have to talk to some coaches and find out. I know that Hamburg probably feels pretty good about theirs. EPC feels pretty good about theirs, but we're going to sit down with the hog mollies and we're going to eat some food. But anyway, so there you go. There's that little nugget that it's right here in the middle of everything. Four seniors and a sophomore at center looks to be the best in the state. Well, Brian, while I agree that they're good for sure, I don't know. I don't know if they're best in state for sure.
Yeah, not yet.
I know there's a lot of offensive linemen that feel that way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Brown offensive line feels that way too.
That would be tough. Bunch of great offensive lines out there. Yeah, you're right. And it's
Excuse
pretty
me.
subjective. I'm
It
not going to
really
lie,
is.
but we're going to choose one anyway, and we're going to eat dinner with them.
I mean, like we figured out that it doesn't matter who we pick, somebody's gonna be mad at us.
Yeah, it's
It's
okay.
yeah, it's
It's life.
okay. Yeah, we're just gonna move on, and we're you got to understand, we just love doing this, and we're just trying to get these kids' names out. That's
That's
really
for
all it
sure.
amounts to us.
That's for sure.
It is because they deserve more recognition than what they've got in the past here in Arkansas.
Anyway, let's talk Hogs real
Yep,
quick
yep,
with
yep.
basketball. So basketball now. They've got one more game, I think, kind of a warm up, tune up game before they turn over and play that tough gauntlet that they're going to have here. Let me go look at their schedule real quick. Um, so they've already played Cincinnati, Memphis, and Michigan State, and then they play Jackson State on Friday, and then Duke on Thanksgiving, and then Louisville to
Is that
follow.
Duke at home or at
No,
Duke?
that's no, it's at Chicago.
Oh, ooh.
And then you've got a home game versus Louisville, and then they play versus Fresno State, and then they go to Dallas for Texas Tech, and then they play Queens, and then they play Houston in New Jersey, James Madison on December the 29th, and then Tennessee to open up the conference at Ole Miss. And Ole Miss right now is ranked 13th. I mean, it is a gauntlet, an absolute gauntlet. Crazy, crazy,
I'm
crazy,
just
crazy.
wondering if JW's mom and dad, Will and Laura, gonna let him take the trip to Chicago so he can wear his "I Hate Duke" shirt. The hate runs deep with Laura Wetzel. She is a diehard North Carolina fan.
There you go.
It,
Um, let's talk coaching search real quick. A new name has kind of come out, and I don't know how to feel about this one, but with Arkansas coaching searches, every time you feel like that you've been disappointed most of the time, right? I
yep,
mean, let's just be honest with you. I mean, when it gets down to
it
it,
started with John L.
yeah,
It
yeah,
started there, and
yeah,
it's
it,
just
it
been
sure has. Bielema on paper looked to be a guy that was going to make the fan base happy. I mean, you come off of two Big Ten titles, or three straight, maybe three straight Big Ten titles, I think. Made it to the Rose Bowl there in three straight seasons. Was a big name coach for sure, but you didn't look into the situation and say, well, every was well, I guess it's hard to say because he was the first one, but what you didn't know is that most every Wisconsin coach came through there and won, and a lot of that had to do with athletic director Barry Alvarez. He helped keep that program propped up, and since he's left, Wisconsin has started to go
yep.
downhill a little bit. So Brett Bielema was the one that everybody was kind of, and I'll say this: I'm not sure. I was just totally excited about it, just because of the style of play. I didn't think the style of play translated to Arkansas, and there were some times it did, and sometimes it didn't. The thing that got Brett Bielema at Arkansas was the lack of coaching in the fourth quarter. They blew fourth quarter lead after fourth quarter lead. I mean, year after year. Of course, we're still blowing fourth quarter leads to Texas A&M. So I mean, I
Uh,
guess, but Texas A&M has beaten Arkansas so many times as of the last 14
you
years.
can't even call it a rivalry anymore.
Well, the thing is, though, is that Arkansas's probably had a lead in most of those games in the fourth quarter, and somehow they weren't
Sadly,
able
yeah.
to pull it out. But all
Bielema did give us Alex Collins, though.
he
No,
did, and I mean, there were some solid moments under Bielema, but it wasn't what you
no,
expected to happen. So
not at all.
the new name that has come up, and I'm not sure that they're not leaning this way. Now, I'm just saying this from my own speculation. Anything we got here?
Mm,
Okay, nothing.
no, no.
Um, my own speculation. I believe Pat Fitzgerald of formerly of Northwestern is a guy right now that they're looking at very, very hard. Maybe even have a deal done with them right now.
Brian Bernard just said that Fitzgerald question mark.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Uh,
it. Yes.
he's an unknown commodity to me. I can't sit here and say I watched much Northwestern football in the past, but uh, we just got to do something
So
better than what we
here's the
got right
thing.
now.
There are pros and cons to a guy like Pat Fitzgerald. Number one, Pat Fitzgerald um, coached at a program that was a lesser program in the Big Ten. And when I say lesser, I mean like Vanderbilt used to be type of program. And he was able to be competitive and in some years was actually very good there. I mean, there was one year there that they played Ohio State and I mean, it wasn't like that long ago. I'm
Yeah,
talking like 2017, 2018, somewhere in there, where they played Ohio State for an opportunity that if they had won the game, they would have been in the lead in the Big Ten. Um, so he does some things. I've talked or I've heard people say that they're looking for a guy that is a defensive guy. Well, number one, Pat Fitzgerald won the Bronco Nagurski Award. He won the Big Ten Player of the Year award on the defensive side twice, while he was at Northwestern. And I mean, I think from all indications is just that guy. Like he's a dude, and there's nothing wrong with that. But to me, and there are going to be people who are going to disagree with me right here, right now. Okay. I'm just going to tell you how I feel about it. You don't have to feel the way I feel about it. But I think Bobby Petrino, if we're going to have to go to Pat Fitzgerald and be the guy, let Bobby Petrino do it. Okay. So here's my thing with Bobby Petrino. You can see it the way I see it. You don't have to see it the way I see it, but this is how I see it. Since Bobby Petrino has come on, number one, he come on after the Notre Dame game where it was 56-13, and somehow he got those kids to hold on to the rope and continue competing. You look at the schedule that we've played, and Arkansas has been in every game. Every game. Do you know that a two-win Arkansas team right now on the season has outscored opponents 341 to 323?
Yep.
Now, is that not the most Arkansas
The-
thing ever?
they're also the number one offense in the country for explosive plays. So
Right.
20 yards or more. Like make that make sense.
Two problems that Arkansas has right now. Major issues that Arkansas has, and neither one of them have to do with Bobby Petrino. And I know one of them you're going to say, yeah, it does. I'm going to tell you, no, it doesn't. Number one, Arkansas's defense is not good enough.
Nope.
That is a big problem.
Hands down.
But look at the improvement that they have had in certain situations. They've been better, right? So I think that there has been some improvement there on the defensive side of the ball. The second thing, and the thing that is probably giving them the most issues right now, is quarterback play. And you say, well, that's Bobby Petrino's fault. Well, Bobby Petrino is giving Taylon Green wide open receivers that he's missing, and
Oh,
he's
big.
throwing the ball to the other team. Okay?
Yeah.
So when we have open receivers that he could throw to, he's throwing the ball to the other team in critical situations.
So it was like a
Turnovers,
3rd and 3 the other day. They threw one. It was sailed 15 yards over his head.
if you
And
take the turnovers out of the equation for Arkansas, they're probably like a 7-win football team right now.
hmm
Maybe an 8-win football team. I mean, fumbles, guys, they're in college. The culture that is there is not Bobby Petrino's culture. But what you do see is if you look at the numbers, the offense is absolutely explosive. Explosive. So give me a quarterback that makes better decisions. Give me an offensive line that can block, and give me a Bobby Petrino with a younger staff, which he already has. The guys that he brought in are younger that will recruit, and give me a defensive guy that will come in and change the culture of the defense. And I think you've got something cooking there.
that in 2 words, recruit Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean there is something to that. Brian or Bernard says Talon is eyeing down receivers, not checking off. I agree, and I will say this: there are times that they're not helping him out either.
That's true.
Omega Blake, there I know at least two times this year that the interceptions that he is throwing are on Omega Blake because he's not doing the right things. One of them ended up costing Arkansas probably a victory against Auburn because he didn't do the right thing. And then I think it was in the end zone last week that he didn't cut across the face of the receiver or the cornerback, and the cornerback just stepped right in front of the ball, and Taylor was just like,
Yeah.
you know, you got to help him out some, but Talon does throw the ball to the other team. That is just how it is. So here, I have said from the beginning with this coaching search that if you have to do worse than Bobby Petrino, then don't do worse than Bobby Petrino and go get one. So
I
here
mean,
we
heck,
are.
give him 2 or 3 years just to see what he can do. Might
Here,
as well.
here we are right now in a position that I feel like that Arkansas is going down the list. Number one, there's not a lot of buzz about the Arkansas job nationally.
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Well, there was, but then LSU came open, and then Florida came open, and you're down the pecking order 5, 6, and then you
When
know
when West Virginia is a better deal than Arkansas is for James Franklin, something's wrong.
James Franklin chose Virginia Tech over
Or
Arkansas.
Virginia Tech, not West Virginia.
He chose Virginia Tech over Arkansas. So that tells you where you're at with this. So if it's down to this, and this is what you've got to do, and I've been pretty consistent with this. Give me Bobby Petrino, and that's where I'm at right now. Now they may surprise me. And heck, Pat Fitzgerald may be the guy. He might come in and change the culture and it might be better. But if you had to give me a choice today between Bobby Petrino and him, I'm taking Bobby Petrino. Why am I taking Bobby Petrino? Because Bobby Petrino, to me, is one of those coaches. Now,
You
I
know what you
know
get with Bobby Petrino.
he's older. Are we getting 2010 Bobby Petrino? Probably not. What about Golish? What
I,
do you
s-
think?
I
I
saw
like him.
I saw the fire on the sideline though, Bobby Trino.
Yeah,
You
that's it. That's part of
he's
it.
got the fire, and I'm
So
good with that.
so I'm not him yelling and screaming at people. That's great, but it's the fire. I like the fire that he's got. He's really trying his hardest to get this job done. What do I think about Golish? I like Golish. I like him. I think Golish would be a good guy. And the thing is that you're taking a chance on a guy like Golish. You're taking a chance on a guy like Eric Morris over at North Texas. Those are the guys that you're taking a chance on. You have more of a known commodity with Bobby Petrino than you do with those guys. And in my opinion, you have to take the known commodity. You have to go with a guy that's more known in the position that we're in. And I think if you give Bobby younger guys that will recruit, which he already has with him, the guys that he has with him are younger guys.
I mean, I know somebody he could hire just right down the road from him right now. That'd be Joe Adams.
Yeah, yeah.
Hire Joe Adams. Give Joe a
Well,
job.
and that's the thing. Jarius Wright's out
Jerry
there
Wright's
right
there.
now.
Yep.
DJ Williams is out there right now. I mean, those there are guys that he could bring in, but then give him a defensive guy.
Yeah, he
Give
needs
him a
one bad.
defensive guy. Go get a defensive guy. Now, the question is, would he be able to get a defensive guy? You just basically have to say, this is how it is. You've got to go get one. You have to. We're going to give him $2 million to get a defensive coordinator. What are you looking at?
You got all that chat over there. Is that the ASN high
That's
school?
high school.
Okay, that's because it's just not coming up on mine. I don't know why.
I haven't seen. We've only got one comment
Yeah,
um,
not
on
in high school. Yeah.
yeah. Let me see here. Is there anything else? Yep, that's it. Anyway, so that's where I'm at today. Now I may be wrong. I mean, I've been wrong before, but here's the thing
Couple
that I
times.
know is that I feel like every Arkansas coaching search is set up for disappointment. Every one of them, and it feels like we're falling to that time right now.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And why? Because we chose to make the decision to fire Sam Pittman 2 years too late. And I like Pittman. I think he's a good guy. I I just feel like that when you look back at 23, it was pretty evident that this thing was not going to work out, and they
Yeah.
waited 2 years to do it. In fact, I was looking out today on my own Facebook, and you get memories on Facebook, right? And 2 years ago today, they put out Arkansas put out a a release that said, "Hey, we're keeping Sam Pittman. He's going forward in
Yeah. I
24."
saw that. Yeah.
And here I'm going to tell you, I'm going to read my caption if I can find it. Gosh, they do these things so different every flipping time. You can't go in and look at it like you used to. Let me look here. It basically just said, take your 8 win expectations next year, cut them in half, and then when he gets to 6-6, he will be considered a savior of the program. And that's exactly what happened. He went to 6-6. They kept him another year, and then the bottom fell out of everything, and he ended up being fired before before the first month of the season was over. And if you felt like you needed to fire a guy after the first month of the season, you probably should have fired him in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Bernard says definitely has to spend some money in NIL and on staff. I agree. I mean, but again, look at the job that Bobby does on offense. And if you just look at the pure numbers standpoint, that's the side of the ball that he's coaching. And from a pure number standpoint, there's nobody in America right now that's done a better job from a pure number standpoint. And if you give him a guy that don't throw it to the other team, Arkansas is a 7-win football team right now,
Mm-hmm. Maybe 8.
maybe 8. So anyway, Pat Fitzgerald is a name that's come up. Alex Golish is another one that's coming up. Eric Morris is a guy that's coming up. I mean, I'll tell you, I would be very excited to have a Golish or a Morris. Morris is a guy that I think has proven that he can do things with other guys, and guys that are lightly recruited. In fact, the guy that he is using at quarterback right now, Justin, didn't even play high school football, and they are like a 9-win football team right now.
Really?
Yes,
That's nuts.
it's wild. He's been able to take walk-ons and win with them. I mean, it's insane what he's able to do. So I am leery of an Arkansas guy like they're talking about Yurachek wanting a defensive guy. I'm leery of that. I don't think that Arkansas can get the defensive side of the ball and get good enough dudes. You have to be able to get defensive linemen. And what has Arkansas struggled with year after year after year after year? Defensive linemen. Now, if you can go buy some in the portal, go invest in them. If you can get the money to go invest in defensive linemen, maybe that ends up being. But do you know who had the best defensive lineman in a recent run at Arkansas?
Who was that?
Bobby Flippin'
Oh,
Petrino. He had Dietrich Wise. He had oh Tank Wright, um, D.D. Jones. There were several really good defensive linemen. I'm talking about four-star type of dudes that came here under Bobby Petrino. Now, am I saying that Bobby's going to get the job? I'm not. In fact, I don't think that he will. But I said when you get down to it, if you're going to be disappointed by the guy that you're going to bring in, just let Bobby do it.
yeah.
Just let Bobby do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where we're at right now.
We look if we're not gonna hire Bobby, we need to. We Arkansas needs somebody that fits Arkansas like Dan Campbell fits Detroit Lions.
I agree.
Just hands down.
That's a great way of looking at it.
You got to have somebody that fits the actual program. But then again, what is our program? What is our identity? We don't even have one. We ain't had one for 15 years.
Well, and that's the thing is I actually wrote you could go look at this on Arkansas Sports Network, not on the high school side, on Arkansas Sports Network. I wrote an article today about that very thing.
He didn't use Chat GPT
No,
either.
I wrote that article today about how that Arkansas needed a guy to come in that looks at this program as a special program, not as a stepping stone. Now, one of the things about Golish is that Golish's wife is from Greenwood and apparently spends time in Arkansas once a month if she can get over here. So there's a tie there to see how a lot of people think that it is a special place. Um, we'll see, we'll see. But I'm going to tell you right now, within 2 weeks, it's the 19th. My guess is that Arkansas plays on Saturday against Mizzou. They will make an announcement very quickly, either right before that game or right after that game, on who's coming. Now, I think a lot of that depends on if either it's Bobby Petrino, which they would say Bobby Petrino will continue to be the head coach, for however many years, 4-year contract, whatever it will be, or it will be somebody that's unemployed if it's before the game. If it's after the game, it's going to be somebody like a Golish, like a Morris, somebody out there that can come in from another place. But right now, don't expect anybody to come in from a big time program. It's not going to happen. It's not happening. Right now, your pool of candidates, in my opinion, are going to be, somebody from the American, somebody from Conference USA, somebody unemployed, or Bobby Petrino. And I think that's where we're at right now. Any objections to that? Anybody got anything to say about
Not me.
that? Anyway, I think that's it.
Yeah, we beat this dead horse as long as we can,
Anyway,
and that's really what it is. Until we get some just a faint heartbeat back with our program. I mean, I can't even get excited
so
about it.
I'm going to read you if I can pull it up. Let me see here. There was just some things that it was just ironic. Number one, that the memory come up on my Facebook
It really was.
about this very thing, and then how there were different posts in that, and I'm not going to read names to protect those who have said different things, but here it is. I'm going to pull it up right now. There were certain people that were talking about how that Arkansas, you can't expect a national championship and all this stuff, and I just said we're not expecting a national championship. I do not and will not ever allow myself to think Arkansas is going to win a national championship.
except in like
Not in
track.
football, and
Not
and
track.
I'll be honest with you, even in baseball, I'm at the point
Till
now
we
that
win one. No.
I won't believe that they won one until 5 minutes after they have.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
just where I'm at with them right now. I
And
mean,
hopefully me and you will be there.
I would love to say that we'll be able to do it, but it's just been too much disappointment. I love the baseball team. I have no problem with the baseball team. I have no problem with Dave Van Horn. They've been ultra competitive. I'm not going to allow myself to believe that they're going to win the national championship until they do. But there was an interesting comment. Okay, this one said that let's see here. Best post. 31 years, Arkansas is a 500 team in SEC play. Now, this was 2 years ago. That they actually are not.
Not anymore.
They're not. They weren't then either. Arkansas is a below 500 team in SEC play. So my thought was this. Okay, so this guy says Arkansas has largely been mediocre. 7 winning seasons out of 31. Okay, I get all that. Here's what my reply to that was is that Arkansas was 109 and 65 under Nutt and Petrino.
Hmm.
They were 59 and 53 in 14 seasons in the SEC. They were 59 and 53. I'm not asking for national championships. I'm asking for Arkansas to not be an embarrassment. I have wrote that very article this year on ASN about how that I'm tired of watching them be an embarrassment. That's where I'm at right now. I'm let's just quit being an embarrassment. You're at a point in the program right now that if they don't get this thing settled and they don't get it right, when the new TV contracts come around and they start doing more of an NFL model, which is very possible for college football, Arkansas is going to get left out completely,
Yep.
and you're going to have to be like UCA with this big 80,000 seat stadium because you can't get a coaching hire right.
I mean, I, give me Houston Nut back. My goodness. Something with some fire.
Okay,
It
so
just
here I've actually thought about this. Give me the 2025 version of Houston Nutt. Give me a guy that is a little bit more of a tactician than Houston Nutt was, but has that fire. It has that fire in his belly and feels like our Arkansas
for
is
Arkansas.
is a
You got to qualify
special
that.
place.
It's got
Yes.
to be. He's got to have the fire in his belly for the Hogs.
Brian
Without it, why even be here?
Ryan says he's more in favor for Morris. He agreed with, I think he's agreeing with my post or talk about Petrino. I'm more in favor of Morris than Golish because of Texas. And so he's basically saying, I'll take Petrino, but I'll take Morris or Golish before that.
Here-
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Here's another question. Is it time to change ADs?
That is very
I
possible.
mean, look, I don't dislike Hunter Yurachek at all. He great attitude. You know, nice. Seems like he's a nice man, and he really
A
cares.
terrible
But
football
a
guy.
terrible football
That was
guy.
that was his
It's oh my gosh.
that was his MO at Houston. He was like a really good basketball guy, but a terrible football guy. And now he's the head of the college football playoff. So basically,
Why?
right, well, if he don't get this one right, then he's going to be out on his head. That's for sure. So anyway, I think that's it for me.
Yeah,
I've said all I can say. But anyway, what's
you got
going
to
to
talk to
happen?
Grant. Hopefully,
Yeah, yeah. Um, I've said all I can say right now about it. I don't have really any insider information. I've got a guy that I can message and might be able to find some things out about what's going on. But the thing is that nobody really, I don't think, truly knows what's going on right
nope,
now. I don't
not at
think they
all.
do. So, with that said, we are going on 2 years with no stadium sponsor. That is sad. I say Houston Nut for AD.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Give me
So,
Houston Nutt as
well,
AD all time.
there's a lot of money that's being left out there right now without the naming rights of that
Yeah, big time.
that stadium. I've heard that they're talking about putting like company patches on the the uh, the uniforms now.
This ain't NASCAR.
I mean, well,
It's
it's coming.
yeah.
Listen, if it's like
Oh,
the NBA where they've got a company patch and it's here, that's fine. If we look like a Mexican soccer league, I'm not good for that at all. But I'd like to keep the integrity of the uniform. But if they have a small, whatever, if they're going to pay us a lot of money to do that, I'm for that. I
But
mean,
you're right. It needs to be, hey, it's just, hey, we're sponsoring this uniform. It's this tiny little smaller than this. You
exactly.
see this? It needs to be smaller than this.
Anyway, we'll see what happens. But anyway, guys, again, members only chat. I said chat stream coming up tomorrow. We'll get the details worked out on that when we can do that. And if you're a member, you can go back and watch that, even if you're not there to watch it right then. And that's really just a bracket, kind of a March Madness bracket type of thing for high school.
Talk
We
about
will
where we went wrong,
right,
which isn't many.
and we will analyze the matchups. We will analyze the matchups and talk about them. And there are some really good things that I've been thinking about coming up for us. Man, I really like where we're headed. I like the direction. There is a lot of new things on the horizon coming up for ASN, and it is coming soon.
Yeah,
So
we're about to be really busy.
anyway, Brian, thank you for that, man. We appreciate you, and we appreciate everybody that's watched this all the way through. We'll have a 5A through 7A preview tomorrow. I say preview. We'll have a look back, and maybe I don't know if it'll be a preview or not. I don't guess it will be. But anyway, with that said, we're going to go ahead and cut this one off and get ready for. Um, well, I guess we got to go to Clinton tonight. You can watch that on the Pottsville Apache channel if you're interested and want to watch some high school basketball. We got the Pottsville Apaches taking on the Bigelow Lady Panthers. And then we'll have the Pottsville Apache boys taking on Greenbrier for the second time in 3 games.
Yeah, Greenbrier, their game that they played Clinton the other night, that was way better
Yeah.
than the first game they played at Pottsville.
So Pottsville's trying to go into the finals of the First Service Bank Classic. In the boys' side, I'll tell you what, right now, if you hadn't watched, yes, members on YouTube, Brian. Sheldon Pirtle says, "Go Devil Dogs." That's hey. By the way, Sheldon, your guy Sandage won our D3 Auto Sales MVP of the week. We'll get that graphic out. Congratulations to him. 1,600 votes on that. He was our D3 Auto Sales MVP of the week, and we're about to start kind of whittling that list down. Oh, look, I think Shannon's in there. He's giving a bunch of hearts there, or Sheldon. I'm sorry, Sheldon. And
Let's get out of here. We got stuff to do.
that's right. Well, we got to go. I'm like a long-winded preacher trying to wrap up, giving an altar call right now. Anyway, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.